All right, this is it. MLS has just switched to a fall schedule. Like the rest of the world, this is either genius or chaos.
I'm a little worried. I think it's a good idea. I'm not so sure it's a great idea.
I'm not worried about it at all. In fact, I think it's a tremendous idea. Finally, it's happening. And in fact, they did something else. MLS did something else at the end. I'm going to tell you that I think this makes this even sweeter for MLS fans.
I'll be playing devil's advocate a little bit. I'm excited about it, but I do think I'm going to try to hear out the concerns of people that are not happy about it. And those people are usually from Minnesota, from Toronto, from Montreal.
Yeah. What do we have? We have about 11 cities where MLS currently plays. That is very cold.
So the colder climates in MLS are, I think the fans are a little bit louder about it. So I'm trying to hear them out. And the main concern that I think people are highlighting is that there will be less people attending the games because of either competing with another sport that they might be interested in, whether that's NFL, college football, something along those lines, or that it might be just too cold and they're not interested in going and they preferred going in the summer.
All right, so let's parse that out because I'm all for saying MLS tells itself we're going to be a global league, we're going to compete with the best. You have to do this in order to do that. You can't be the oddball that plays in the summer. First of all, it's disgustingly hot in the summer. So I understand that it's extremely cold, but it's you can wear a jacket, bro. Right, and you can't show up in a thong. You feel me to a game?
Try to turn me away.
I dare you, officer. First of all, I wax these cheeks, Your Honor. I don't know whether there's a judge here.
No, it's like in Philly how they have a jail at the the stadium.
What I'm simply trying to say, it's probably just as safe or just as dangerous to be in a stadium in a deep freeze or a very cold stadium than it is an extremely hot stadium.
Also, I can speak from as a New Yorker, like being at NYCFC games. It is cold, but it's not unbearable. We went to the MLS Cup final in 2016 in Toronto. That was one of the most difficult experiences we've ever had. Our toes were freezing.
This is a great point. Look right here. Winter break in December and January, right? It's on there for a reason. I think that's smart. Many leagues around the world do this. In fact, we've been very critical of the Premier League for not taking a winter break because they want to play in Boxing Day, and this causes more matches, more match congestion. It gives players not as much time to sort of take their kick their feet up and rest up and sort of heal a little bit. And this is an opportunity for MLS players to be able to do that. This is very similar to if you can play through the winter in the Scandinavian countries. Or some winter months, you can take a break. There's no reason why MLS can't take a break. And I think this adds a fun apertura, clausura type vibe to it. It's not necessarily the dual champions like you get in Latin America, but you'll get a nice vibe to that. Maybe there's something you can do in the winter months in more summery weather areas like the League's Cup or Campeones Cup.
Right.
But let's break this down little by little. I think marketing wise and just to be a part of the market with everyone else, you have to align yourself with everyone else. So now you're part of a global market.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Two, ticket sales in your colder months or competing against other sports. It's true. In the summer, you're really only competing against baseball. There's an opportunity in the winter to compete against your NFL, college basketball, basketball. There's a lot going on, right? And I agree that this is a tall task for MLS. And MLS depends heavily on their gate in order for them to be able to move forward. Those days, at some point, you got to put your big boy pants on. At some point, you've got to start to go head to head. And I think the pressure of that, this is something we argue about with MLS. There's not enough pressure on these teams, right? There's not enough pressure on these players that you don't get relegated. So there's no fear. Yes, there's fear of losing your individual job. There's the pride of the player. We've talked about Dwayne DiRosario's comments when playoffs don't matter. They don't matter to you. They matter to us. I mean, games out of the playoff, I should say. There's a lot of reasons why, yes. But that additional pressure, the pressure that promotion and relegation brings, if you're not going to have that, now is the pressure of going up against some of these big leagues. You're going to have to, as a league, you're going to have to create a better product. You're going to have to really put forward much better players. You're going to have to probably strip away some of the MLS-specific kind of kiddie pool, kiddie table at Thanksgiving type rules that you have. And you're going to have to start to really make your game and your programming.
The kiddie pool.
Bro, it's a little childish, some of these rules.
Table.
Tam, gam, wham, wham, thank you, ma'am. All this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Get rid of some of this stuff, and you're just going to have to start to align with the global game a little more and a little more. I'm not saying you can't have something that makes you unique. but you can. Too much uniqueness means you're not even playing in the same field. This allows, if the pressure of promotion relegation makes players and clubs function better and try harder, then the pressure of competing against NFL, college basketball, college football, NBA,
I mean,
will make them play.
You're
better.
mentioning promotion relegation. That is not.
No,
they
no,
did not vote on that.
No,
that
no.
is
I'm
not
saying
happening.
if we're always saying, well, that makes the players try harder and makes it better and this, that. Well, then this, as a league, will force them to be better.
From an institutional level of the league, this will force the league to be more competitive with other leagues. And I think that's the biggest positive.
How do you do that? You got to make the product on the field better. You got to
and
make the marketing behind it better.
You make the product on the field better by aligning up with a lot of the international, the transfer windows. So you're not so that the beginning of your season, you're in the middle of the scrum of trying to get all the best players, trying to get free agents. You don't you don't
play through international breaks.
That too, but also like the January transfer window, you can't get free agents. It's unfortunate. So you would have to negotiate with a club to end that for that player to terminate their contract, and it makes it complicated to get players that might be available, because who knows if they're available in 6 months in the middle of the MLS season versus the end of the European season or whatever. Do we have the Wilfred Nancy quote? Wilfred Nancy, I saw Tom Bogert tweet this, mentioning why he thinks why the schedule change needs to happen. He says, quote, "If they don't do it, there is no logical thought behind the desire of MLS to become a really good league. If you don't make the change, you can talk and talk, but it's impossible. But it's impossible. People overseas will take us seriously." So the French,
He French.
Yeah.
He knows.
He keeping it very.
Not only does he hear what they're saying, he understands it.
We're reading in English. It must have been even worse in French. It wasn't.
Oh my God!
It was very polite. Him saying it in
there's
English.
no s'il vous plaît.
So I think from and all the GMs. We have Will Kuntz here, GM of the LA Galaxy. They all want this because it makes their jobs easier. It makes their jobs when they're negotiating for players. So now people might be concerned. Oh, fans are not going to go during some of these games. If it's cold or whatever. And I'm sure they're going to adjust and work it out as best as possible. Yes, Minnesota will probably have to have a game in February. That's gonna really suck. Toronto.
Okay. I want to remove this from the table. What's the biggest goal you've recently seen that you've seen everywhere? Everyone's been talking about it. It's been all over.
The Canadian Premier League snow game.
Okay, right. The icicle kick, if you will.
Yeah.
That game is being talked about everywhere. Canadian Premier League, our friend over there shot me a text. Something like 768 million.
Speed was reacting to it. And
everybody was reacting to it. This got billions of views.
Like 699 million views of that. It was Speed. We're talking about
Regardless of we got some of it as well. I shared it, give me like 5 views on that. But what I'm saying is this got over 1 billion views.
Yeah.
This got tons of engagement. Everybody's talking about this because it's different. Because it's them playing in the middle of a tundra. Yes, you don't want to do that week in and week out. That's not the safest for the players. The players wanted to play in that game, by the way. They wanted to play in the Canadian Premier League
final. Yeah.
They didn't want to postpone it. They were ready. They said, no.
If the game is inside an active volcano, they would play.
But that's the point. It's like these little things are marketing pieces. No one's being like, "Whoa, look how sunny it is." Oh my God, it's the melted wax game. No, icicle kick. If there's snow on the pitch, these things are different. They don't see this in Europe. These are marketing opportunities. So I'm tired of people acting as if playing in the winter is not going to be doable. It's doable. You don't want to do it every week. I wouldn't want to be a ticket holder.
You're talking about playing. I'm also just talking about sitting in the stands watching it.
Buddy, throw a couple hand warmers in the shoes.
So no, I'm gonna always. I've experienced it. I'm gonna show a lot of sympathy for fans that don't want to go through that. But I think a fair compromise. They basically probably the final arrangement might be a little bit different, but they're suggesting ending the season midway, 2 weeks into December, and then picking up around 2 weeks into February. So 2 months.
Which, if you look at the way the weather patterns have been, that's probably your most brutal time.
The first week of MLS, which is the end of February. We had the RSL LAFC game a year ago or something, or was it this season? We'll have, if we have one of those games, it's like
You have 3 or 4
Out of
across the league.
Out of 34, like 1 or 2.
You went to that game. It's special. Here's pictures. Here's a selfie of me and my shorty in the snow.
Okay, we snuggling up.
Yeah. Is it just me and Christian? Yes, but that's what he wants me to call him.
Brother, I mean, look, the content game is getting really difficult.
We got to find ways to differentiate ourselves.
The Cooligans doing the gay pivot at some point. Yo, that
it's
is
more
jumping
like a
the
gay bait.
That's jumping the shot. That's a jump the shark. I mean, that's what the fans want.
Yeah.
Will they? Won't they?
It's been going for 10 years.
So, yeah. Look, I think it's a fair compromise, but yeah, I understand the things that people might be reluctant about and worried about, but this. So what resolves all of this? I have no problem going to a game where it's 30 degrees if I pay for my ticket and Mbappe's there playing. I'm be like, okay, I'm gonna deal with the cold because the quality, I've already seen the quality of play and the quality of players that are now interested in joining the league jump to a much, much higher level. So I'm gonna be cold, but I'm gonna be like, Mbappe was there, bro. I saw Dembele.
Messi's not enough for you to go see a cold weather game?
I'm just saying, he's already here. So I'm just using an example of now that we would be able to draw a much higher caliber talent. That's what I think is gonna resolve the issues or concerns about people worrying if people are gonna want to go to games in cold weather. So I'm like overall super excited for this. I think it's a necessity. I want the next thing to be pro rel. We're posturing. We're like trying to do everything we can to have the league be popular without creating this thing that will cause that increases the urgency of every single game. And I think that is the natural future and progression. And everybody could be like, no, they shouldn't, they can't do it. They can't. When USL does it, and maybe it leads to a lot more interest in the league, maybe MLS would consider it. But that is the future. That's the only way to grow the sport. And yeah, so that's what I'm hoping, but this is a good first step.
I remember in the beginning of this conversation, I told you that MLS changed one other thing that I think is going to make this even better for MLS fans. Paul Tenorio just tweeted out this, and finally, oh my God, are they listening to the fans, MLS, all of a sudden? Yeah. Check this out. He said, breaking, MLS will come out from behind the separate MLS season pass subscription beginning 2026 per his sources, by the way. All games will be available on Apple TV streaming service.
Thank you, Purse Sources.
Thank you, Purse Sources. Say something nice about us. Help us out. But this is huge. If you don't know, if you're listening or watching this and you don't know, you need to pay for Apple TV Plus.
Yes.
And then on top of that,
you don't need to pay for Apple TV Plus to get MLS Season Pass, but most people already kind of do. You can just get MLS Season Pass. You can't watch the Apple TV Plus stuff, but
you could just get that.
You can just watch MLS on.
But if you have Apple TV Plus and you're like, oh, Apple TV Plus just signed MLS games, click the button. It's gonna be like, give us money.
Yeah.
What is it? $12.99
for a month.
Okay, so now you no longer have to pay that. Now all you have to do is get Apple TV Plus, which I didn't understand why they didn't do this to begin with. I know Apple TV is like, well, or Apple saying, well, this helps us recover the money we paid.
Yeah, they paid quite a lot for the rights.
But you make that money if more people just sign up for regular Apple TV. Why would you separate the two? Especially now knowing that you can only do one of the two makes no sense. Send everyone right to Apple TV.
Yeah, I don't know what the subscriber numbers of people who just have Apple TV, but it's clearly way more that.
But anytime you buy an Apple product, you basically get a year free of Apple TV.
You get 3 months for free.
Well, you buy a laptop or an iPhone, you get a year, I think.
I don't think so. I literally just read it was 3 months, but Alexis,
Where'd you read this on? IHateAlexis.com?
So,
well, anytime I've ever gotten it, it's been free for a year. That's why
it's. I have T-Mobile, so Apple TV is free through T-Mobile. So it's like I think maybe that's what's skewing how you think how much this costs and how much you get it,
buddy. But anyway, I have so much money. I don't even know.
This is not a commercial for T-Mobile.
When I bought my yacht, it gave me Apple TV for free.
Okay, good. My yacht didn't have it. I guess I'm just a broke.
With your broke ass yacht.
So no, this is a huge move because MLS and Apple TV have been, I think, weirdly not super transparent about how many people are watching these games, and they don't. A lot of these
people watching. They got high pitch. Come on, people subscribe.
There's a lot of people.
There's people when you games out, people watch.
So I think that's the interesting thing here. Even in since MLS signed the deal with Apple TV, I think there's been a little bit less. The people that are in our bubble that are always going to watch it, the diehards, we're still all talking about it. But there's the people are not stumbling up across MLS like they used to.
You lose the it happened to be on at a bar,
Right.
type of vibe. And sports is like that. Sports is. I remember the one LA Galaxy final. I believe it was like 2013 or 2015, somewhere around that time. I just happened to be at a bar.
15 wasn't them, but yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't them. No. So it was 2013, 2014, one of those.
Mhm.
Just before we started the show, I happened to be at a bar and it happened to be on. I was like, oh, guys, MLS is on. People were like, oh, cool. Back to what they were doing.
Yeah.
But
Look at this nerd.
Yeah, but by the end of it, there was a couple more people watching.
Yeah.
And you gain fans that way. And you're not going to do it if it's behind a paywall. And most bars and recreational spaces aren't Apple TV subscribers.
And it'll be so much easier. Obviously, a lot of people have Apple TV Plus. It'll be so much easier to advertise to those people that already have the streaming service.
And if Apple TV Plus go out and sign other sports, now you have even more reasons at bars.
So this is, I think this is a fair compromise because a lot of people were basically saying, a lot of these games are not, very few of the games are on like Fox Sports and they're not broadcast on regular cable and stuff like that. So this gives them the opportunity to, again, be discovered. The discoverability aspect of MLS the last 2 years has been fairly low.
Yeah.
For us, I'm gonna go wherever they're at.
We're fans. We're fans. We're season ticket holders.
You tell me I gotta watch on my Apple Watch. I'm like, all right, I guess this is where I gotta.
Don't hurt my eyes, but I'll be right there with you.
I want to see what Christian Rotan's up to.
Put it on my smart fridge. I'm gonna be looking at that and the cheese.
Any other devices, really? Okay. I mean, the technology's not there. Fine.
Yeah. Wow. It's crazy. The microwave looks like a TV. You might as well make it that.
So no, good news. So some positive changes in Major League Soccer.
This could be even bigger than the switch to the fall schedule as far as being able to attract fans.
That is, what a statement, Alexis. Wow. What a crazy statement.
Could be.
Having these games on TV or just have easier access to them is huge for MLS fans. Imagine USMNT if you weren't able to find it on TV. And you know what? We got to talk about the USMNT. And if you want to see us talk about that, click right here.